Hello again and welcome to Arch Eats. My name is George Mahey.
I'm Cheryl Bear.
And we are in the middle of summer in St. Louis, and it's hot as it can possibly be.
It's oppressive.
The perfect day to talk about frozen treats, frozen novelties, specifically ice cream and frozen custard. Don't you just want some right now?
I mean, that's all you want. You don't want to turn your oven on. You want to do nothing except immerse yourself in an ice bath and eat some of these treats.
We're going to talk about 12 of our favorite places, some you've heard of, and I bet some you haven't. And we're going to end this episode appropriately with a rant about melty ice cream, specifically melty hardpack ice cream, which we've all worn on our shirt from time to time.
This episode of Arch Eats is sponsored by Augusta Winery.
But as we always do, we're going to start with what I can't stop thinking about this week. I've got a good one. Cheryl, I forget what yours is.
Well, mine is, you want to talk about the taste of summer besides ice cream, a BLT. Oh. It's a classic. I mean, in some ways, it's an ovenless, entree here. So a BLT, to me, it showcases one of the best things about summer, which are glorious, ripe tomatoes. I know we can get them all throughout the year, but I mean,
it's
not the same at all. And I recently had some incredible ones from Howie Farms. I don't know if you've ever had their tomatoes. I actually picked them up at the Boulevard Farmers Market, the Sunday market there. They're also at Ferguson. And I think they're at the Tuesday night Tower Grove market. But I had their heirloom, and it's one of those really like gnarly, knobby kind of.
They're not pretty, but they're tasty.
It was so juicy. It was the kind where you slice it thick, drips down your arm as you're like eating this. But the key, I usually use the Wright's bacon, Duke's mayo. You have to do.
Yep,
I'm a Duke's fan 100%. Just some nice crispy lettuce. I like, just like iceberg, just like the crispest lettuce you can get. But Joel Crespo, formerly of the, Guerrilla Street Food, Joel, I ran into him actually at the Sunday Farmers Market at the Boulevard. And he's out of the business now, but he's still doing a lot of stuff on his own. And he told me the bread you have to get for it is the milk bread at Kim's Bakery. It's a Korean bakery in Chesterfield.
Boy, that's a good tip.
It is such a great tip. And he's right. They bake this bread fresh every day. It doesn't come sliced, but they will slice it for you on request. So go ahead and call, ask when it's going to be ready for the day. I think he said usually mid-afternoon. But the thing about this is it's so like light, fluffy, and airy that it gives you that perfect crispness you want in a BLT without, sometimes you eat it, it scratches the roof of your mouth and you're like, oof, I don't know about this. This is perfect because it's like cushy and crispy at the same time. Perfection. That is what I cannot stop thinking about is the quintessential
Do you toast
BLT.
this bread?
You do.
Okay.
And I'm usually like a griddle person. Like I butter griddle or olive oil griddle. No, I think this is just classic toast. That's how I like my BLTs. It's just a classic toast. It's so simple and perfect.
I eat all my BLTs in the summertime because of the summertime tomatoes.
Yes.
I eat 10 or 12 of them, and then I don't have it until the next June.
Yeah, that's why they're there.
Best.
It's the best. To me, it's the best way to enjoy a summertime tomato.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I can't stop thinking about this week is the best deal in town on a splurge item.
All right. And I'm already
Think
raising
about
my
this.
eyebrow.
Think how much you want to splurge on, but I'm talking about, kind of speaking of sandwiches, the lobster roll that's available at Star's every Friday and Saturday. Lobster rolls, as you know, they're not even cheap in Maine. They're $30, $35 something dollars in Maine. This lobster roll is $21.99. Incredible. It's an incredible deal at $21.99. They serve them both ways, Maine style and Connecticut style. The Connecticut style is served on a brioche bun.
Okay.
And the Maine style is served on the traditional, kind of open face hot dog bun. But anyway, it's the chef at Star's, a chef named Treff. You can always remember his name.
Chef Treff. I love
Treff,
it.
the chef. He's from the East Coast, and he said, I grew up eating these things and making these things. I'm telling you, it's spot on. Knuckle and claw meat and a little bit of onion and some mayo and not much else. And it's just spectacular. It comes with a side of really good pasta salad, a legit serving, not just this little 2-ounce, me, what did you spell?
Like in a ramekin.
Yeah, ramekin style. The pasta salad is delicious. The lobster roll is delicious. Both of them are $21.99 Friday and Saturday at Stars. Call ahead because they run out of them. I'm telling you, you'll thank me later. This is the best affordable splurge in town. I ordered one and I wanted to go back and get another.
Okay, because I'm very picky about seafood. So
I'm telling you, you have to
I
try this.
I will be
And
cautiously optimistic.
it was my first one, and I've seen the sign every time I go in there, and I've either come when they've run out or just didn't make it happen. But oh my gosh, I'll see you there this weekend.
All right, sounds like a plan.
So that's what we can't stop thinking about. We'll be right back.
The heat is on. Break out your sundresses and sandals and head to Augusta Wine Country on Highway 94. Visit Augusta Winery for a real taste of their terroir in America's first wine region. Sample award-winning wines and dance to live music on weekends. Cool down in the evening hours at Augusta Winery's Second Sip Saturday and Friday night live events featuring live music, spirit and craft brew tastings, giveaways, and local vendors. For hours, directions, event details, and dates, visit AugustaWinery.com. And now, back to the show.
We're going to move along to other summertime treats, ice cream, custard. We decided not to take in snow cones or ices or gelatos. We're going to limit this because there's plenty to talk about.
So much.
Keep it to ice cream and custard. It's still a full episode's worth. So why don't you go ahead and start? I know we each have, several that we're excited to talk about.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, some of them are very well known, some a little bit off the beaten path. I'm going to start out with one that it's one of my favorite just places in town in general because there's such a joyfulness about it. And that's Sugar Witch, the ice cream sandwich
They're the
place.
best. Just the best.
They're so wonderful. Deep, deep South City. Carondelet,
Yes.
I think it is. Just the loveliest people, bonded over a shared love of ice cream sandwiches, two partners in business and life. They decided to launch this concept, started out as a pop-up kind of thing, or they were doing stuff out of Ben Faremba's Airstream at AO & Co.
Yeah, a mini Airstream.
They got a brick and mortar in an old bakery in Carondelet, and they're so wonderful. They make their own ice cream for them. They make the own cookie for it. So the ice cream sandwiches are what they're known for. They have a whole bunch of them named after different witches throughout, fiction, like the Ursula.
Elphaba.
Which is my favorite. The Elphaba is delicious. And I'm not usually a mint chocolate chip person, but theirs just hits the right note. It almost tastes like a thin mint. It's like a mint chocolate chip ice cream, a minted, salted kind of brownie cookie for the sandwich part, and just absolutely wonderful. It's kind of got a toastiness to it that's just perfect.
I haven't found one of those that I didn't like.
Yes.
I mean, it's so good. And they're square. I think they're $6-7 a piece. There's not much packaging to them.
No.
They're almost nondescript. Like, what is this little
Yep.
goodie here? But oh my gosh, they're the best
So
in
wonderful.
town.
The other thing I love there is their Choco Tacos. They, that used to be like the classic ice cream truck novelty.
Right.
And they do a riff on that. They like hand dip their waffle, stuff it with their ice cream. They add sprinkles to it. Whimsical, lovely, perfect for summer. Like bring the family, bring yourself, bring whoever. That's wonderful. My next one is one that I think people from St. Louis think I'm from St. Louis, but people think I'm a blasphemer. But I love Silky's frozen custard. Silky's might be my favorite frozen custard in St. Louis.
We've talked about that.
We have. I go to the one in Ellisville. And the reason I like it, first of all, it stays solid a little bit longer than other frozen custards that you get. We're talking later on about like how everything gets so melted instantaneously, you end up with ice cream soup. But this stays firmer a little bit longer. It has a little bit more of like a savory note to it. I'm not saying it's not savory, but you really get this like egginess and this cream, this richness to it. The vanilla, I always get classic vanilla. Everyone thinks I'm so boring, but I love it. It's the little black dress of ice cream. I've said that many times, but I think they're wonderful. Head to Silky's if you want frozen custard. My daughter loves the pineapple. She gets it mixed in with fresh pineapple. Oh my gosh, that's a very refreshing
Is that a
summertime
concrete?
dessert. She gets a concrete like that. Yes. It's wonderful. It's kinda like the idea of, like, Dole Whip, if you've
Yes,
ever had that,
yes, yes,
but a
yes.
little bit richer, but it still has that lovely pineapple cream taste to it. So, those are the first 2 off mine.
I'm going to stay in the fruit mode, and
Ooh.
I'm going to take you to Mr. E's cider donut and frozen custard stand
Oh.
in Belleville. Mr. E is Mr. Eckert. It's at this Belleville farm complex. And I had some peach
Ooh,
custard there, fresh peach custard, and it was delicious. And it
perfect.
had the same qualities that you were talking about.
Mhm.
That's really important, that solidness to it. It's not goopy or sloppy. It's very hard on the cone. And oh my gosh, that complex over there is insane. I know there's peach custard until mid August, and then they go to something, maybe, I know there's pumpkin in the fall, but there's a specialty sundae called an apple knocker that has a big slice of Dutch apple pie
Oh.
with caramel and pecans. That's good. There's a
Oh
donut
god.
sundae made with their homemade cider
That's
donuts.
perfect.
I would recommend the apple cider slushy, which is really good. Or you can go to the cider shed, which is right next door, that has you can get a flight of all 12 of their ciders, and it barely fits on this
Oh,
4-foot table
wow.
we're looking at. It's insane. It's this giant board with 12 ciders. Anyway, I don't know if you've been over there, but the general store over there it's massive. It's not like, Wally's or Bucky's big, but it's really big,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
got all kinds of things. I mean, just it's a general store. The muffins there are as big as softballs, and there's something there called a humble pie, which is the size of a Danish, but it's made with a pinched pie dough.
Not very humble. Sounds
No,
pretty
no,
big.
decadent pie. And I took the apple caramel walnut one and picked the pieces of the crust off and dipped them into my
Oh,
peach
yes, you
custard.
did. That's
How does that
brilliant.
sound?
It sounds brilliant. What
Anyway,
a pro
that
move.
is that's over in Belleville. Another place in Belleville that I like to visit is the White Cottage. And anybody that's a St. Louis and that ventures over there has probably heard about it because it's been there for 77
Yeah,
years.
I've heard about it, but I've actually never been, so
It's
you have
it's
to tell
it's
me.
just outstanding. There, it's family owned. The cherry garden ice cream is made with fresh cherries. The blueberries made with fresh blueberries. I had some banana ice cream that was so good, and it's that homemade. It's like grandma used to make, kind of
Yes.
a little bit grainy. It doesn't
Yeah,
stick, it might fall apart just a little bit, not super
I
sweet.
love it.
I mean, really, really good ice cream there. They roast and salt their pecans. They make their own praline topping. Everything's homemade there. They've got 25 flavors at any one time. If you want to, you can try 15 of them by ordering the pig trough. 15
No,
scoops of ice cream, 5 toppings, whipped cream, a cherry, and a Twinkie.
that is outrageous. That's like a food
It
competition or
it
something waiting to
is.
happen.
Someone put it on a scale. It weighs 6 pounds. It costs $35. But anyway,
Might cost you your life too,
I
but
had a single scoop of ice cream and was perfectly happy there. But the White Cottage has been there, like I said, for
wow.
decades. They've got smash burger sandwiches, fish sandwiches, pork tenderloin sandwiches, so you can do the whole Monty there if you want to. And it's always open Monday through Sunday, I think 11 to 10 PM.
Oh, that sounds
Really, I mean, worth the trip. It's 30 minutes from my house, and I would go over there again for some of that banana ice cream.
well, that sounds like a lovely place, but I have another classic, and this is one, I'm not telling any secrets to anybody with this, but Crown Candy. You can't talk about ice cream in St. Louis without talking about Crown Candy. I was just talking about BLTs, and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, they're known for their BLT." The heart-stopping BLT, I think
Yeah,
it is,
yeah, yeah.
but, and all their chocolates and their candies and stuff, but I love a classic chocolate malt, and I think the reason is you go in there and it has such a nostalgic feel to it, and it's not fake nostalgia. This is legitimately an old institution.
Yeah, yeah, it's like Gus's pretzels or
It is.
Dad's cookies. It's as big of an institution as we have.
Yeah, it's as St. Louis as the Arch,
Yeah.
I really think. You come to St. Louis, you go to a Cardinals game, you see the Arch, you go to Crown Candy. Like, it is that sacred here. Um, the malt, the milkshakes, they serve them in those frozen cups. You get your glass, but then you get the extra on
Yeah,
the
in that
side,
in
and
that s
the
in
ice
that
is
stainless
crystallized
cup,
on the outside. It's just
you get
it's
the
the way to do
chocolate
it.
a chocolate malt,
I do chocolate, but I also like butterscotch.
and
I do love butterscotch.
I order a chocolate banana malt and
Ooh.
a nap.
Oh, That's
because it's
great.
so much stuff
Yes, it
and
is.
it's so delicious. Anyway,
Oh,
that's my standing order
oh,
at
that's so great.
Crown Candy.
So I'm talking about the old school with Crown Candy. I would say the relatively, it's not brand new anymore, but kind of the newer school, shall we say, is God, how much do you love Ice's Plain and Fancy? Have you've been, I
Oh,
take it.
sure.
Oh
Well,
my
and it's
gosh.
night and day from old school to new school.
Exactly. Night and day. This looks like a science experiment. You go there, there's like steam rising, you feel like someone's in a lab coat back there doing something, but it's the nitro. It's like it's flash frozen. So
With liquid
with
nitrogen,
liquid
which
nitrogen.
is not a quiet process.
No.
It sounds like a jet engine,
Oh,
and
yes.
kids of all ages love to hear this stuff being made.
And
It's just
yeah,
incredible.
I think that's what I love so much about it. It's not just that it results in this like silken, just glorious concoction. I mean, the texture of this is so perfect, and they have so many goodies there. I like their boozy ones. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Big Lebowski, and they
Mhm.
have a frozen dude, which is basically a white Russian in ice cream form. So 10 out of 10 recommend that. But it's just, it's visual, it's auditory, you taste it, you smell the smell of the ice cream when you walk in there. It like hits every sense. It's
It's a
perfect.
true ice cream experience.
Yes, yes.
Down
So, how do you
down
top that?
well, I'm gonna take you to House Springs,
Oh,
which is
wow.
so there's something right there,
Okay.
not where a lot of people are familiar with, a place called Singer's Ice Cream. It's been there for 2 years.
Okay.
It's family owned. It's a true mom and pop shop. There's 2 different moms and pops that run it, and they do things differently. They make their own ice cream there. For instance, they use 3 different kinds of Ghirardelli chocolate in their chocolate ice cream,
Ooh.
and they use so many Oreos in their Oreos and cream that it's like gray colored
Oh,
in
wow.
a good way.
Yeah, definitely.
Really small batch ice cream. I mean, 6 quarts at a time small. So it's just incredible. It feels very small townish. They call it singers because there's musicians in the family. There's a karaoke machine there.
Oh, that sounds
16
wonderful.
flavors, different flavors, banana pudding, blackberry, vanilla turtle, mocha crunch, and they do sorbets. Mango, right now it's mango, watermelon, and lemon sorbet, but by the time you go, it'll be 3 different ones. But I'm telling you, it's worth the trip to House Springs. Again, it's about 30 minutes away, 30
Mhm.
minutes from my house anyway. But it's just this charming ice cream experience. That said, there's one in St. Louis too. There's not a Singers, but there's that same type of vibe, that same type of feel at a place called, and you know this place, Spoonful of Sugar
Yes.
in Benton Park. It's the former Cups and Cones. The guy that owns it is named Elijah. He and his brother and his mother run this
I
place,
love
and
it.
they do their own ice cream too. They're big on candy ice cream, Snickers, Butterfinger.
Yes.
They do all fresh fruits, strawberry, peach, but they do a bunch of vegan ice creams too. The coconut based ice creams. There's a pineapple coconut that tastes like a frozen pina
Ooh.
colada,
Oh,
and
that sounds
and
lovely.
these coconut based ice creams, you've had these. They're pretty good.
Oh, I love
I'm
them.
just as happy with them as I am with
I am
regular
too.
ice cream. You think coconut milk, I'm not sure about that. It's pretty darn good. This teeny place seats 12. There's that cute little patio out back. And I'm telling you, it's just this charming, old towny feeling, cute, charismatic shop. And they even have dog treats that are made with yogurt, peanut butter, and bananas.
Are you kidding
I'm
me?
done.
That sounds wonderful. Oh, God, it's good for the whole family, right? Well, my last 2 are I would say they're kind of like 2 of these, like, really just classic scoop shops that have kind of arisen over the past, like, gosh, decade here. Well, no, I guess Serendipity's been around for 20 years. So, that's one of them, Serendipity. I love this place. Becky Jacobs is just this, kind of like force of nature, super cool. And, she originally opened in Webster. Now she's in the Grove. But she just does such a good job with that. Like, you think of like a Baskin Robbins style where it's that classic scoop shop. You come in, it's kind of like that harder style, like real deal, like close your eyes, you think ice cream, scoop of that on a cone, stack them a little high there. I do love that. I had a blueberry ice cream there that was absolutely fantastic not too long ago. But the things she's doing now that I think so cool, we're talking about ice cream sandwiches. she's got a build your own ice cream sandwich option now where you get to choose your cookie
Mhm.
and you can mix and match so you can have a different top and bottom.
Yes, yes, I love
So
that.
cool. And then you fill it with whatever ice cream they're scooping that day. So that alone is worth the visit there.
And her shop is now down in the Grove.
Yes.
Used to be in Webster, but there is a scoop shop in Webster that uses her ice cream, and it's
Yes.
called Sylvie D's. It just opened recently. And again, they've got just really cool things going on there. They've got ice cream nachos that are made with like waffle cone chips. They've got old fashioned sodas and all kinds of soda flavors, floats and candy, a huge candy selection. What impressed me there is I've never seen this. A New York City based Swedish candy importer called Bon Bon.
Huh.
And they are one of the originators, apparently, of Swedish fish. And as the owner said, this is the real thing, Swedish fish from Sweden. So
Wow.
that's Sylvie D's in Webster that
Oh,
specializes
that's
in
perfect.
Serendipity's ice cream.
Perfect. The other one this is the last one on my list. I do love clementines. I mean, you can't talk about ice cream in St. Louis without talking about clementines.
She's the new OG, I
She
think.
is. She is. I mean, she made it on an Oprah's favorite things list. So, I mean, come on, what more of an endorsement do you need? And that was for the gooey butter. Her gooey butter, I think Oprah called it the sexiest ice cream.
She did.
Yeah. So, I mean, ringing endorsement there. And it's so fun to see how she started out as this like little Lafayette Square scoop shop. And now she's just this like brand, and just
And we're
force
speaking
here.
of Tamara Keefe,
Yes.
she calls herself, what is it? The flavor temptress.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. My favorite there is their coffee ice cream. I do love a good coffee ice cream. And I think theirs is great. They use like just a really decadent, deep, rich roast in there. So you actually get this coffee taste to it. So love their coffee ice cream. It's fantastic.
Now, this guy is the OG. Ronnie Ryan of
Yes.
Ronnie's Ice Cream. He's been in business for 45 years here. He's the best local ice cream manufacturer that nobody knows about. He's just totally below radar, but he supplies Cyrano's with their French vanilla and
Hmm.
has forever. When I was at Cyrano's, we were Ronnie's biggest customer. Maybe it still is. He supplies the High Point Drive-In,
Hmm.
Tony's, you might have heard of it, Straub's Private Label. He supplies the Muni Opera with those
Yes.
Ronnie's Rocky
Oh, that's
Mountains,
such a Muni
that
experience.
huge drumstick.
Yes.
They Most of his line is available at another Webster shop called Half Pint, which
Yeah.
is next to the Frisco Bar Room and the Annex. And it's another one of these places that feels like a small town, like a Lake Michigan small town ice cream
Yep.
store. And one thing that he has there, which I didn't know, he makes specifically for them an acai blueberry sorbet.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
refreshing.
so good, it's their number one selling item.
Wow.
He also has a raspberry sorbet, which he's done forever. He does a chocolate sorbet. Never
Huh.
had it. He says that's incredible. And he does a mango sorbet with a chamoy ripple. Chamoy is, dried fruit, chilies, lime, salt.
Wow.
Sounds crazy, but he said, what other ice cream store in town can offer that?
Yeah, it's
And I said,
perfect.
nobody, Ronnie, you're the king. Anyway, brown butter, salted caramel. He does all kinds of cool flavors there. But anyway, that's Ronnie's Ice Cream at Half Pint in Webster. Really, really good
Yeah,
stuff.
you go to Balkan, you get your Savapi, and then you wash down with some Ronnies.
I'm telling you, it's a great experience. And my last is just a note about the new fountain on Del Mar.
Hmm.
Now, a lot of people are going there and they think it's like the fountain on Locust, and there's a full menu there, a full menu of
Hmm.
food and goodies and dill pickle soup and those kind of things. But no, this is pretty much a coffee and ice cream shop. There are no savory foods like they are at the other fountain. People need to know that. And there's ice cream aplenty. It comes from a place called Cedar Crest Ice Cream, which that was an interesting story. Joy Gridnick, who started the
Hmm.
fountain on Locust, did months and months and months of research. She said, I became an ice cream geek. And she said, this is the best ice cream in the
Wow.
country that I could find from Cedar Crest. And I could get into why it is, but I'm not going to. But, you can experience 4 of these ice creams at the fountain on Del Mar with it's got a flight of the 4 world's smallest ice cream
Oh,
cones.
that's so cute.
They're
I
so
love it.
cute, and it's a little companion novelty to the world's smallest hot fudge sundae, which they
Yes.
also serve. Anyway, that's the fountain on Del Mar. recently opened next to Steve's Hot Dogs in this Del Mar Maker District that everybody's talking so much about.
Well, I do have, one more just kind of quick thing to add. I know we're not talking about like snow cones, but this kind of blurs that line between snow cone and ice cream. Have you ever had bingsu, the Korean frozen
It's a
dessert?
Korean national dessert.
Yes, it's so wonderful. It's kind of icy, kind of fluffy, like a
It's like snow.
snowball. It is like snow, but there is milk in it, so it's got this creaminess on top of it. There is a really great place in Chesterfield called Spoonful, and it's just a bingsu cafe basically. And the thing that's so fun is you can top it with anything you can imagine, fruits, candies, you name it. It's so lovely. And it's like you take a bite of it and it just immediately just like melts on your tongue. It's so refreshing.
The one I had
So perfect.
was half strawberry and half mango.
Oh, perfect.
Delicious.
Delicious. So that is something if someone's interested in trying something a little different, kind of off the beaten path there, I highly recommend Spoonful. It's a fun spot.
I've got a couple quick hits too. The best orange twist cone in the area.
Oh.
Who doesn't like that? This is at the Dairy Haven in Caseyville. This is
Oh,
a soft serve cone
nice.
that's got half vanilla ice cream and half orange sherbet, which they're famous for. So it's got that
Yeah.
really zingy, tangy.
Oh, it sounds
So you've got
lovely.
these two, instead of it being the same texture, these are two different textures twisted
Oh,
together.
wow.
I'm telling you, it's worth the trip to Caseyville just to get one of these guys. And somebody turned me on to them, and then she said, I'm telling you, they're craveable, they're unforgettable. She was right. There's another one in town. This is we're back to custard. I think the best chocolate custard cone in town is at the St. Louis Frozen Custard Factory.
Oh,
For the
yes.
same reasons that you were saying, the chocolate's very tasty, but it's got that hard texture. You can't, you can lick it, but you can't really do it. You almost have to either bite it or lip it. You know what I'm
Wow.
talking about?
Oh, I know exactly what you
lipping,
mean.
it
Yes.
sounds kind of obscene, but that's what you have to do to get the custard off this cone at the frozen.
Gotta do what
St.
you
Louis
have to
Frozen Co-
do.
Yeah, well, we probably should leave it with that, but there's another soft serve ice cream that I just had the other night that it was outstanding. I'm not sure if you've had this item. It's called The Works at Neon Greens, the
No.
new salad place in town.
No.
This is a vegan ice cream, but again, don't let that worry you. It's Thai basil, vanilla, and matcha, right? With the powdered green tea, soft serve that's made with oat milk. And that all sounds kind of a little odd, but man, it's really tasty. But they top it with smoked almonds and some caramelized puffed rice. They put
Ooh.
some caramel sauce on the top, and then they stud it with some shards of house-made sesame brittle. So the top of it has this sesame coming out. It looks like the scales of a stegosaurus.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
I
You got
do.
the visual?
Oh, that's so fun.
It's sweet and it's a little bit savory, but it's one of the best soft serve products I've ever been served.
Wow, that sounds impressive. I love it. Well, I think the takeaway is there are a lot of unique places, there are a lot of classics, and there's a lot on the east side. It sounds like we talked about a lot of reasons to go out to the east side for ice cream. So,
And did we even talk about Ted Drew's?
oh gosh. Well, I
I mean,
mean,
that's the elephant in the room. And they're the king. They're the best. I mean, I love Ted Drew's like anybody. And I have, a lot of people say I don't go there because it's too busy. Well, you know what? Here's my theory. There are so many new custard places and so many more custard places. You've got your Fritz's and you've got your Andy's and, you got Culver's all over town and Freddy's all over town. There's custard everywhere. I contend the lines at Ted Drew's aren't as bad as they used to be. The last 3 times I've been there, it's been very manageable, pretty much walked right up. So
yeah.
don't get intimidated if you think there's going to be a 25-minute wait for custard
And
at Ted
there's
Drew's.
absolutely not. I've never waited more than 3 minutes this entire summer, I don't think,
No.
because they're professionals there. I mean, they know how to move people. So, and they have such an army of people working there. Do not be intimidated by Ted Drew's.
It's still the best. It's perfect. It's St. Louis. It's iconic. What isn't iconic? There's one thing about ice cream around town. This doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's horrible. This is the micro rant of the day. Melty ice cream. Ice cream or custard or any frozen treat, really. I mean, the texture is as important as the taste. Sometimes they'll dip a cone out of the cabinet and the scoop is so loose on there that you've got to lick like a madman
Yeah.
to keep up with it before it falls onto your pants.
You're not even tasting at that point
No,
because you're
it's-
just trying to get the job done.
No, it's not enjoyable. And that happened to me the other day. And the woman behind the counter said, "Do you want that in a cup?" I said, "No, I want my ice cream cone served on a cone. I
Yes,
want to
yes.
order a cup. I would have ordered a cup."
Yeah, I never understand that cup cone thing. I mean, I do from like a, I guess, logistics standpoint, but that takes the joy out of it.
And I just think, it's very important to have the temperature and the texture right. If your dipping cabinets aren't working properly, fix them. Don't service an inferior product, especially when it's $5 a scoop, which it's gotten to now.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's the rant. Do you have any other?
Well, I don't know. I mean, melty ice cream,
Forget about
it's
it.
still good ice cream, though. Let's just say ice cream is king no matter what.
That's it for this week. Be sure to follow us and share with your friends. And we always provide links in the show notes for everything you heard about today. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow along on Instagram at St. Louis Mag. And feel free to give us a follow personally at George Mahey and Cheryl A. Bear.
If you loved what you heard, show us some love by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. And if you're hungry for even more content, you can subscribe to our dining newsletters for the freshest coverage on the local restaurant and culinary scene.
Best dishes, and see you next time.